Caroline Lucas, our party leader, someone that set an incredible example in terms of how politics should be done and should be done ethically over the last few years. I had the pleasure of speaking at a public meeting with Caroline last night in Lancaster, which I've got to say was fabulously attended and very warm reception. And when you do meetings like that and you see the way that a speaker like Caroline can motivate a crowd, motivate an audience to come and participate afterwards, you realise just what a wonderful asset she is to this party. So I'd like you to put your hands together. A very, very warm welcome for Caroline Lucas. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Peter. Thank you, everyone. And a particular thanks to our hosts here in Blackpool and in the Northwest for making us so very welcome. As Peter said, I've already had the chance to meet many talented and committed activists from around the region and to hear about some of the work and the successes that the Green Party has had here in Lancaster and Lancashire. And we've known and admired the way that the Greens have broken through onto Lancaster City Council, almost doubling their number of seats to 12. But now, coming here, we see the benefits for local people. Councillors who are prepared to back local business and to challenge short-sighted developments like the Centros shopping centre. Councillors who will fight for our environment and against the road-building madness of the Heysham bypass. And councillors who will fight to protect vital public services. These are the kinds of Greens councillors that we're seeing all around the country. Greens delivering for their community, being honest about the challenges that we face, and making decisions not on political calculation or, for that matter, on Mediterranean yachts, but on the basis of what is right. No wonder when people see Greens in action, they want more. And having more members joining us is the best vote of confidence that I can think of. It's a sign of a political party that is reaching out to people and convincing them that there is a way to succeed in politics without compromising your principles. And so, as we prepare to launch our European election campaign, it is the Green Party which offers the genuine alternative, both to the three grey Westminster parties and to the growing threat from the BNP. Because here in the Northwest, it is our lead candidate, Peter Craney, who stands between Nick Griffin and the policies of hate which he represents, and a seat in the European Parliament. And I don't know about you, but I can't think of many more resolute and steadfast people than Peter in their opposition to bigotry and racism, nor anyone more committed to standing up for justice and equality. And so we come to the heart of it. Climate change, international development, the economy, social justice, they all come down to one common factor: politics. Because in the end, politics is no more and no less than how we decide things together, how we face up to the difficult questions and try to find the answers that give the greatest benefit to the majority without leaving anyone on the outside. I believe that this party, the Green Party, has a huge amount to contribute to the politics in this country. Not all the answers, of course not. But politics is the poorer because of the efforts of the other parties to exclude us. Now, if we had any doubts about the level of corruption in Parliament, they could hardly have survived the last few years. We've seen BAA and the airlines buy their way into the corridors of power to get the result they wanted on Heathrow. We have seen that level of corruption, and we know that we have something very different to offer, something much better to offer. And we know that we should be in all of the different chambers of this country. You know, look at the House of Lords. You see that they have managed to buy their way into the House of Lords. You have Peter Mandelson coming back to the House of Lords, and you can imagine how much we miss him in Brussels. But if it was someone trying to get into the House of Lords, someone who might champion the poor, or ask awkward questions, or show that you can be in politics and stick to your principles and still make a difference, then of course they shut the door in our face. But we are not giving up. We knew it wasn't going to be easy, and we're in it for the long haul. And we must remember, first of all, that we can win, that slavery was abolished, women won the vote, fascism was defeated. And second, we must remember that winning at all costs, winning by sacrificing our principles, would be no victory, but only a betrayal. And third, we must never forget the responsibility that we carry. What happens in this country does matter to the rest of the world. Whether it's the pollution that we produce, the resources we consume, the scope for our armed forces to be a force for good or the cause of greater instability, for us to provide leadership on climate change or to undermine progress. What we do nationally has an international impact. And in this party, we believe something quite simple, and yet something very powerful. And that is that everyone in the world is of equal value. And so I ask you to remember in your work on councils up and down the country, in your campaigning and in your communities, in working to see more Greens elected to the European Parliament and to local councils, and in preparing the ground for our first MPs in Parliament, remember who you are working for. Not just the people of this country, but for everyone in this world. For all of those who are struggling to make their voice heard, and for future generations without a voice. The Green Party is that voice. You are that voice. Thank you.